Hello, everybody. Josh Brown here, back for another great episode on Franchise Euphoria. Well, today's episode is brought to you by IndieFranchiseLaw.com, a leading resource in the franchise space to help you if you're considering buying a franchise, turning your business into a franchise, or growing your business through a licensing or franchise structure. So go on, check it out, IndieFranchiseLaw.com. I think you'll find a lot of valuable and free information as you continue to kind of weigh franchising and licensing and the growth of your business. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy today's episode. On today's episode of Franchise Euphoria, I'm thrilled to welcome Daniel DeLeon. He is the president and CEO of Grumpy's Restaurant. He's owned and operated multiple franchise concepts in the restaurant industry and has grown 6 local and diverse businesses from the ground up. After a successful career as a multi-unit franchisee for various restaurant concepts and large franchisor representative, Daniel developed and launched Grumpy's as a franchise opportunity. So we talk about his prior franchise experience, his experience as a franchisor. We learn all about the Grumpy's breakfast and lunch concept and really have an interesting discussion about some of the things that he's done during COVID and with regard to COVID-19 to adapt and adjust along the way. To learn more about Grumpy's, you can go to grumpysrestaurantco.com or just go to grumpysfranchise.com. Hope you enjoy this interview with Daniel DeLeon. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to Franchise Euphoria. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I love the idea of having a restaurant entrepreneur on the show because obviously with COVID and everything else going on in our world, there's a lot to talk about with restaurants these days.
Definitely.
Before we dive into that, though, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got in. I believe, did you start Grumpy's?
Well, actually, I purchased Grumpy's just about almost 3 years ago, coming right up there. Grumpy's has been around for about a little over 20 years. It's changed hands a few times and changed visions a few times. They brought in, French cuisine at one point. It was a little bit
trying to figure out itself a little
yeah,
bit.
Had a lost identity, multiple owners, and when I purchased it, I thought, no, this breakfast and lunch is the gig. Get rid of the French style. And let's really get back to the roots of traditional Americana. It's my background. It's what I love. And then go from there.
So your background, you've owned and run several restaurants, right?
I have. I've been a multi-unit franchisee for a couple brands. And even before that, I started off as a financial advisor, really didn't know my way and where I wanted to go with things. I always had the entrepreneurial mindset and I wanted to own my own business, but I didn't know where it would take me. And then, I had a place I loved going to in college. I went to the University of Florida and I'd eat at Pita Pit all the time. So I took a leap of faith and left my financial advising, career at Merrill Lynch and opened a franchise unit of Pita Pit with my brother in our home area. And it spearheaded me into other opportunities in different businesses and other restaurant franchises, and then ultimately led me to Grumpy's.
So what did you like and not like about being a franchisee?
So I really liked the business of franchising, right? And being a franchisor. I thought being a franchisee had a lot of potential if it was done right by the franchisor. But unfortunately, in a lot of my experiences, franchisors missed the mark just a little bit. So I thought, well, you know what? I can really do this and improve on the areas where I thought the franchisors had a lot of opportunity, operations, ongoing support, training, development, really the ground floor areas. And that's where I really think Grumpy's and what we're doing sets ourselves apart compared to a lot of other franchisors and other concepts out there is, we're very, very much focused on franchisees, so much so that we really don't envision ourselves with many corporate stores or really more than one, as we only want to focus really on franchise development, support, and growth, and really, really supporting that franchisee so they're uber successful.
So, it's one thing, obviously, as a franchisee, you realize and you say, boy, I wish the franchisor would be doing this, or I wish they would have had this or this. How's it been for you being on the franchisor side of things now and trying to implement those things for your franchisees?
So it's been good. Me, I come with that unique background where I've been that multi-unit franchisee across
Which is great, right?
Yeah, multiple brands for that. So I've had some experience seeing things a couple different ways. So really, when we're making decisions, we really have to look at it twofold, right? I have to turn around and look at it from the franchisee end. So the decision-making process is not just, okay, we're going to roll this out. We like it. There we go, right? It's okay. We like it. how is this going to impact the franchisee, and how is it going to work in turn? Is it easy to operate? Is it a good decision for both sides, right? Or is it just a kickback type position, right? We really focus on trying to have, all rebates and incentives go to the franchisee or off product versus just being a rebate driven business. And we look at things just a lot different. I really look at them just as I'm a franchisee, right? What I want my corporate to make this decision for me.
Well, I got to imagine with Pita Pit and maybe with your other ventures, were they, lunch and dinner type concepts? I mean, how's it been going to
They
a
were.
breakfast lunch?
Yeah, breakfast lunch is the perfect day part for me. It's a sector that we saw that has a lot of growth opportunity, and it's really underserved and underdelivered. And for us, it's quality of life, right? I love the restaurant business. I would own a steakhouse, and I have all these ideas, but just working nights is really a non-starter for me. I have two kids. My daughter's 12. My son's soon just about 7. I'm able to pick them up from school every day, coach all their sports. These are things I really wouldn't be able to do if we were in the dinner business. It's almost impossible to be able to have that nightlife and that family life. And that's a big part of the Grumpy's brand is quality of life. We do breakfast, lunch, and brunch very, very well. We have no interest in doing dinner.
So obviously we're on an audio podcast, but I always like to take us through as if we're walking into a Grumpy's restaurant. I mean, what's the look? What's the feel? What can we expect? What kind of menu are we looking at?
Yeah, we're feeling traditional Americana, right? You're going to walk in at a Grumpy's restaurant. You're going to be greeted with sweet Southern hospitality, really known for the service. We are more of an experience-based brand, to where it really is bringing back that diner experience from the 50s and 60s. People would say you told your barber and your bartender all your secrets, right? Well, they knew all the drama in the family and all the good stuff. But now it's changed to, for us, we are that post, right? We're that listening ear. Our servers and waitresses are those people really building relationships. And we're those barbers and those bartenders from back in the day, right? We still have the newspapers. We don't have any TVs. You come in and you're going to see a mixture of driftwoods, comfortable setting, welcoming setting. It's kind of like you'd walk into like your grandma's basement, right? Built in the 80s. But it's not old by any means. It's rustic, it's shabby, chic in interior, and then with awesome diner food, really sets it apart. We do everything from scratch, made to order. So it's full service. Server. We have our fresh squeezed juices, things that you really wouldn't see at a local diner. We go for neighborhood settings, and we really like to play off of that community. We're not built as a cookie cutter like a Panera, which is great. I eat there, but you're going to see the Panera. It's going to be streamlined the same over and over and over. We really like to take the character of the local communities and bring it into the Grumpy's restaurant. So we have the look and the feel, but we're always tweaking it to make it more of that community and that look and feel of where we are and where we're going.
So if I'm a patron, I'm coming in and I've got a good appetite, don't have a lot of restriction. I want to know what should I order first time coming in?
Our go-to is always the Grumpy's Big Breakfast, right? It's going to have your eggs any way you like them. I personally would like them nice over medium, a little bit runny in the middle. And I'll get our bacon, our hash browns crispy, nice seared real nice, maybe even throw some melted American cheese on there. And it's served with pancakes and a coffee, right? I mean, it's as good as it gets to me. It hits all aspects of breakfast. From the eggs, the bacon, and then to the pancakes, right? And then we do our fresh brewed coffee, which is a proprietary blend that we actually have roasted for us locally here in Jacksonville, Florida. So it's really cool to be able to do that and then really bring in some eclectic type stuff like that where we're, oh, awesome, we're going to have our own proprietary blend of coffee that's roasted just for us. I mean, sometimes it's roasted and it hasn't even cooled that much, and the air expands in the delivery bag. So it's pretty awesome to get such fresh product.
Now, are these some big, giant, fluffy pancakes?
Oh yeah, we don't slack on the portion, right? I mean,
I didn't think so based on your description. Yeah.
oh yeah, we're your old school diner, man. If we see the bottom of, how we look at it, right? If we see the bottom of the plate, serving's not big enough, right? We have to fill the plates. We like it like that. We like, people say, well, how big is, how big's your portion of fries? And they're like, is it 8 ounces? I don't know. How big's your hand? Oh, your hand's too small. Give them a hand and a half, right? We love being old school like that and having the ability to do that, because I feel that's what people connect with, their childhood and going to those places where it's just going to be an overwhelming experience with great food, company, hustle and bustle atmosphere. To me, it's just traditional Americana, right?
And you're in Jacksonville. So how many locations throughout Florida do you guys have?
We're only in Jacksonville. We have 3 stores in development now. We're here in our flagship location is in Orange Park. We have a location in coming in Middleburg, Florida, and going into the Beach Walk area, St. John's, Florida, also in the very near future.
Now, are those corporate or are they going to be for, are those franchised?
Nope, those are all franchise units,
Nice.
and the beauty of that is, we've actually secured the deals during COVID, which is unbelievable. And knock on wood, we have some amazing franchise partners that are coming on, have came on board with us and coming on board with us that really love the segment that we're in and really love what we're doing with the neighborhood and down home feel. It's just it fits all these communities so well in the southeast.
Well, that's awesome. Talk about during, you'd mentioned COVID. Obviously, restaurants are among the businesses that have been hit incredibly hard. Talk about some of the things that you've done, how you've coped with it, how things are going right now. I mean, we're still in the midst of it, and I think right as we speak, Florida's getting hit pretty hard. So what are some of the things that you're doing right now?
Yeah, these are unprecedented times, right? It's been very difficult just from an operations standpoint. We're trying to run a business with too many unknown variables, right? You never want that in any businesses, trying to budget and run things with unknown variables. But for us, it's knock on wood. We've been very blessed through COVID as a business, right? And really as a community, here where we are locally, we've really been able to respond really well. Initially, we transitioned to curbside pickup and things of that nature. And we never offered the delivery or third party apps or anything of that nature. We're really an experience based brand. So we didn't want to focus on trying to just get orders out, orders out, orders out. We really wanted to focus on even when people are coming up, we're still delivering that curbside service with the employees and really going above and beyond to really, serve the community. It's a little bit different philosophy in a lot of restaurants. They went to limited menus and pushing third party delivery and apps and all these things, which are great. We have that type of stuff and the ability to do that. But we really said, you know what? Let's focus on what we're really good at. We're going to continue to have our whole menu. We're going to offer every item like we would. We're not going to close. We were able to pivot and keep 100% of our staff employed during the shutdowns. And even till this day, I mean, we're hiring like crazy. I mean, and getting people back on board because we knew at some point we were gonna win this battle and we're gonna hit the ground rolling. So we wanted to be prepared. So we thought, well, one, it's just totally unfair and unrealistic to furlough or let go every employee with no notice. We just couldn't sleep on that. I couldn't make that decision. So we started an employee relief fund where I was able to donate my salary for a few months and use resources that the business had to continue to pay our staff and keep everyone employed. Now, their salaries and pay might not have been as grandiose as usual, but we were able to maintain the status quo for everyone as employees, but also as the brand, right? Keeping familiar faces. The operation moving forward was huge for us, and it's been huge for us to when we did open dining rooms back up 25, 50% and moving forward. It's been a smooth transaction for us. Now, it hasn't been as in the industry. Some places are still having really bad luck, but we've been blessed that I think it really worked to our favor to keep the employees on board.
So, I mean, are you guys busy? I mean, are people coming in to eat? Are they getting more carry out or what do you?
Oh yeah. Well, we've doubled our carryout business and we've sustained that since. And yeah, we're on a wait every day, breakfast and lunch.
I mean, it's interesting because you mentioned like delivery and everything. I mean, obviously you're going to keep the dining aspect of it because that's such a big part of your brand. But I'm curious, what are some of the things that you've thought about that you might be tweaking just for the future, just based on the fact that, there's going to be a cross segment of people, some who are comfortable, some who aren't, who want to either come in and sit down, want to get the food to go, want to have it delivered.
Mhm.
There's always obviously issues with delivery and third party delivery when it's not your own people doing it, the quality, the timing, the care that they take with it. I mean, has COVID impacted how you're doing some of those things?
Sure. Really focused on if we are doing anything other than in restaurant dining, is we really developed more of and we continue to develop more of a system for curbside pickup. And that's the avenue we're really gonna roll with. We're really not a huge fan of the third party delivery. There's a couple different reasons there. I mean,
You don't
largely
make any
cost
money off of them,
associated.
do you? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. And it puts a burden on the restaurant and the people in the restaurant to facilitate a lot of third party delivery orders where For me, breakfast and lunch is not a great delivery point. If you're looking at dinner restaurants, yeah, I mean, you do great delivery items. Pastas are easier. Chinese food holds up well, things of that nature. Breakfast,
Breakfast is hard, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
so how do you do that? I mean, because I'm a big like, it's funny, I will and I'm sure not everybody's like this, but, I can tell a lot about a restaurant, either if I get something from pickup or, if I'm eating there and then, you get to go boxes, how do they pack it up? What kind of care do they
mhm,
take with it? Because there is a big difference in what you put it in as to how
of
how
course.
fresh it stays, how much air gets
Mhm.
into it, how it's packaged up. I mean, have you guys always taken care in how you do that, or has COVID kinda impacted that as well?
Yeah, we had a pretty good system going into COVID, but of course, this has actually brought out tons of new products, right? From your paper manufacturers and producers to where it's just making to go packaging and servicing that much better. I think it's really had everyone step their game up on the producer side. Now that we have, a lot more options for different packaging, things are geared towards certain items and they're really making it with a restaurant focus, not just, hey, a box focus, like, okay, here's your styrofoam container. Now there's a lot of great options out there that are coming that really weren't available to this degree. They were very select, special order packaging and things of that nature that, yes, the larger chains would have specifically developed for them. But it's really opened the door for a lot of great products. And yeah, we've definitely upgraded, things in that segment, but really focusing on curbside pickup and developing a great system, have a dedicated spot and things of that nature, which we really didn't focus too much on prior, given that we are an in-restaurant dining experience and we're so busy there, we didn't want to really push to go or anything too much prior to COVID because, hey, we're really at capacity in our units, as is, but we'd love to, now develop it and adding it as another facet of business.
So who's an ideal franchisee for you if you had your pick?
Yeah, so an ideal franchisee, most people are going to say, strong restaurateur or someone in, but for us, it's someone who is entrepreneurial minded, a leader, and very good at operations, right? Multiple different facets of business operations and leadership is really the ideal candidate for us because, what I find, I'm not Gordon Ramsay. Luckily, I'm just fairly good at operations. I can manage a lot of different tasks and departments fairly well. And that's really what it takes. There's just a lot of different operations going on at once in a restaurant that have to work together as an assembly line in a cohesive unit. So we find the best operators and the most successful people in the business are not the best chef in the world or the best server in the world. They're those people that are very efficient and proficient in operations.
Now, are you selling single units primarily? Or are you looking at multi-unit deals?
No, both. I mean, ideally, your ideal candidate now, and I think this is the new wave of franchising. You're really a multi-unit franchisee for security of the brand, the investment, in multiple, and then having that mini management structure. But we also are very open in selling single unit deals. Our average unit volume is fairly high, so the single unit is still a very strong investment. And then looking at the multi-unit side, it really plays to having someone the ability to have their own corporate structure and mini support structure, right? With a district manager, more of an accounting center, things of that nature, because now we're able to really develop 3 to 5 units and have that relief structure and use, through cross locations.
Now, are you working through a broker network in terms of them helping you find leads? Or are you doing it just sort of more naturally, organically through your own network?
No, we're doing it through our own network. Not really working with any broker lead services. We do have an independent representative who works for us, Tom Parks. He's working for Grumpy's and really handling all the sales side of the leads coming in and the lead flow. But we handle all that really in house, right? Through our internal marketing firm and things that we're doing for getting out there and really, branding and running the franchise. But knock on wood, we've been very blessed with a lot of activity and interest in our local community, which has been awesome.
Yeah, you guys have a great name. I was reading up about you, and you got a lot of good publicity and a lot of good reviews. I love the name. The name's the name's great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we try really hard. We focus a lot on the experience. And our philosophy is we take the fine dining aspect and we bring it to $6, $8, and $10 breakfast food and lunch food, right? There should be no difference in variance in how much we're spending, and that equation shouldn't equal better or worse service. We should be phenomenal at any price point, right? I mean, it's a luxury to go out, and we feel like it's a luxury and experience to come to Grumpy's given that we do close at 2 o'clock every day. We're only open, at that time. A lot of people can't come on the weekends, or they have, sports, or they're working. So it's really, when they do come, it's that experience, it's that luxury, it's that reward. And we really want to make people know and feel that.
Well, it's interesting because so many people think that if you're just open breakfast and lunch, like, oh, you miss so much more of the day. What they don't factor in is that you cut all those costs, both
Mm-hmm.
in not just in, utilities and employees and all that other stuff. And there's a reason why there are a lot more breakfast and lunch places, because people are figuring out that if you can do it the right way, not only can it be a great quality of life, but it can be great for the bottom line as well.
Of course, we're very, very P&L driven and unit economics driven. I mean, that is our focus, and we run a very efficient model. We're a much smaller model than your traditional restaurant. Where a traditional restaurant's going to be 4,500 plus square feet, 150 plus seats. We run out of 2,700 square feet and 106 seats. So we run very, very efficient. We're running at 100% capacity. 80+% of the hours that we're open, which is unheard of compared to traditional models where they're maybe only at capacity for a little bit 2 days a week, right? The other time it's, they hope to get busy or get full once. For us, we're on that sustained weight, breakfast and lunch every day, and then a little bit longer on the weekends. We run at maximum efficiency. That equates to the bottom line is much higher profitability numbers.
Well, so as a final question before I let you go, tell me, I mean, you're relatively new to the franchisor side of it, right? I mean, I know you've been
Mm-hmm.
in franchising for a long time and you've seen the franchisor side. So there's folks who are listening who are either contemplating franchising their business or have done so, just like you have. What's one or a couple different things that you've learned along the way that either you didn't think of or you wish you would have known, when you first got started?
So we spent a lot of money developing our FDD with the wrong company at first. We thought we had the perfect mix of FDD development and then sales team, coming as a package deal. But we really would have went with a different legal counsel and really would have sped things up about 6 months to a
Hmm.
year. So that going into it's very, very important to have the right legal team and do things right from the beginning. I heard it over and over and over at the IFA, International Franchise Association. So I came around and really using one of the larger firms and better known names in the IFA, Fisher Zucker, which I think is a huge recommendation. I'm not endorsed by them. I don't get a kickback or anything, but it's really going to save you time, money, energy, resources by doing it correctly. And we just weren't happy with our first FTD. So then anything had to be redeveloped and redone. So, all that time, energy, and effort, not to mention, resources that go into that, we had to redo.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate you coming on,
My
and
pleasure.
it's fantastic that you've been able to sustain through COVID, haven't let people go, really coming up with some creative solutions. So my hat's off to you, and wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future.
You too. Hopefully after this, we get through COVID and everything. And next podcast we'll have over breakfast.
Well, that's true. That's true. And lastly, and I'll mention this in the intro, but obviously, the best place to learn about the franchise is at grumpysrestaurantco.com. So grumpysrestaurantco.com. Is that the best place?
Yeah, or they can go to grumpysfranchise.com. But our main website's Grumpy's Restaurant Co. But we also have URLs grumpysfranchise.com.
Fantastic. Thanks again so much, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Franchise Euphoria. If you enjoyed this episode or have enjoyed the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could go to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. It really helps to get this podcast out to more and more people. So the easy way to do it is go to iTunes and in the search box, put in Franchise Euphoria. You will then see my cover art and you click on my smiling face that says Franchise Euphoria and then click on the link that says ratings and reviews. It's that simple, but boy, oh boy, does it mean the world to me when people leave ratings and reviews. And like I said, it really helps get the show out there. Once again, would love it if you would go to iTunes and leave a rating and review if you enjoyed this episode or other episodes of the show. And until the next time, happy franchising.